You managed to get back from 2-0 to scoring 2 goals, taking 2 penalties, but why did you make it so hard on yourselves tonight?
It doesn't in the end doesn't matter if we recover or not. It's the signs that the team gave during the game, the beginning of the game. So I know that the best team won, the only team that was on the pitch. The best players lose because one team can win against any group of players, and I think that the team and the players spoke really loud today. So that's it, and we lost. The best team won.
The team and the players spoke really loud. What do you mean by that? Could you?
Yeah, I think it's really clear what they spoke. So let's move on from this day, and I think was really clear for everybody what happened today.
You spoke about bad signs. Let's break them through a little bit. Defensively, why do you think they had so much space, especially in the first half?
I don't know. It's not just the space, but the way we start the game without any intensity, the idea of the pressure. We were completely lost, and it's hard to explain. That's why I think they spoke really loud.
You've been talking about intensity since last season. Did you see many of the same mistakes from last season?
Yes, I think that is a problem. When you lose, but you see something new, is different. When you see something that, like today, it's hard to talk about that. I just want to say I'm really sorry for the fans. The support that they gave me, and the support that always, with all the defeats, that they helped the team today. I have nothing to say. I'm really sorry.
When you see the same mistakes as a manager, what do you think you can do differently? Because you had a pre-season with them, you had last season, and now you have the start of the season. What do you think you can do differently?
I think they spoke a little. I think they gave the response on the pitch today. So I don't need to talk about that. So I just want to now to. We have a game in the weekend, and then we have 2 weeks, and we will solve things out.
Just a final one, sorry. Of course, there are a lot of problems in today's performance, but also Onana had a really bad game today. To which extent do you think you guys have a goalkeeping issue, and he has an issue?
Yes, it's not, when you play, with all due respect, when you play against a 4th division team, it's not the goalkeeper, it's everything. It's the environment, it's the way we face the competition. We know that we are in the moment, everything. People will pay attention to everything. It's going to be massive, every detail. And we show that performance today. So my players spoke for me really loud.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
What's he trying to say there?
I think he may be referring to the players in the dressing room. Maybe they've spoke up on his behalf, maybe. But listen, he's obviously hugely frustrated with the performance, the way they started the game. They were sloppy in possession, a lack of, like we spoke about at half-time, he alluded to it there, lack of intensity, no speed in the ball, no progression with the ball. And I thought Grimsby were terrific. They stifled United. They couldn't gain a foothold in the game tonight, United. I mean, for the first 15 minutes, I don't think we've seen United enter Grimsby's half. I mean, they penned them in. It was you didn't expect that.
Look, I know you don't want to talk about specific systems and formations, but he is saying he is seeing things there. He's not seeing anything new that isn't working. He's seeing the same things over and over again.
Yeah,
so as Natalie said to him, what do you change?
Well, I think the point Phil's making about he doesn't want to talk about, there's certain games, chappers, where that almost becomes secondary. And if you're not prepared to do the basics, when he says my players spoke for me today, or spoke with the performance, he's saying what I think a lot of us thought watching it. There's a group of players that turned up tonight, and when they started that football match, did not fancy being anywhere near this game tonight. You could see it in the body language, you can see it in the attitude. Grimsby got after them. Yes, of course, at no point in that first half did they match that intensity. Did they run? They lost their duels, sprint distances, and I think that's the point he's trying to make. I've put a group of players out there tonight that should be able to go and do a job, and they haven't done it. And it's because they didn't want to do it, in my opinion, and I think he's come out and said that. The system and the formation, for me, yes, should he tweak it? Should he give the players sometimes a better framework? But if you don't do the basics right against anybody, then you come unstuck. And that's what happened for me tonight.
I've got to keep saying, like, that game tonight had nothing to do with tactics on the pitch. Tactically had nothing to do with the game. You have to go into games like that and you have to be alive from the first whistle. You know what to expect. You know it's going to be a tough game. You're playing against lesser opposition who are going to be shouting and cheering for every single ball. You've got to be so aggressive. You've got to concentrate more than ever in any game. You've got to be able to sustain attacks when you're attacking, and it was too easy for them to play out when United were attacking, and then they end up with a 30-yard sprinting behind. I just think tactically, it's out the window.
Okay, so if we take a personality, I'm sure there'll be United fans, if any of them are still watching, who will go, how many times do we have to go over this same discussion? How many times it has to be? It doesn't matter who the manager is. In some ways, it doesn't seem to matter who the players are, because there are players that he's brought in this summer there. But the same questions were asked under Ten Hag. They were asked under Mourinho. They were asked under Solskjaer. Right? You were probably part of some of the squads. No, but where you would have been, because those questions were asked about the character. So players come and go, managers come and go, and yet this question of culture and character hangs over this football club. How? Yeah,
look, there's no getting away from it. There's no doubt in my mind that any player walks onto that pitch tonight and wants to put a performance in like that and play that way. I won't have that. But it just wasn't good enough. All over the pitch, they lost so many duels. Even for I think it was the first goal, Ugarte and Ahmad got caught in between a duel. One of them should have at least stopped the counter-attack by a cute little foul. The goals they conceded were so basic, and they just weren't at the races all over the pitch. Maybe on 75 minutes they gathered a bit of momentum, but I think that was because Grimsby tired. They got deeper and deeper, and we did call it during the show that, you know, if United get one here, they might get a second one straight away.
Well, you called, though, that it would come from Maguire, which it did. And I know Mbeumo scored, but they still had £200 million worth of new attackers on there, but it came from Harry Maguire.
Yeah, listen, he's a massive threat on set pieces in both boxes. And any time in a game like that where you need a goal and you get a corner or a set piece, he might have scored one against Fulham the other day when he came on as well. So he's a huge threat. But listen, they shouldn't have been anywhere near penalties, really. I think Grimsby should have been 3-0 up early in the second half, but just it wasn't good enough.
The other interesting thing he said towards the end was, we've got a game on Saturday, we've got Burnley on Saturday, and then we've got an international break where we will sort it out.
But the sort it out is the bit I'm not quite sure where he goes with that. One, a lot of the players will be away anyway for international break. But what do? You can't get rid of. I mean, there's players there that have played so far this season. You know, you can't just go and wipe the deck. So again, for me, that then comes back to you as the manager and saying, right, am I getting the best out of this group on a consistent basis? However, I've got to do that. And it might be switching away a little bit from my belief in a system or a formation. And I just don't think he is. You look at the amount of games that he's lost during his time there, week in, week out, they are not getting the level of performance that they should be out of that. Yes, there's underperformance. Yes, there's a culture that needs a bit of a shift, but he is not getting the best out of that group.
It's a bit harsh, this, because I'm probably asking you to try and interpret what he thinks. But do you think he thinks that if he switches, that's a sign of weakness?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody who's that, set on a system and formation, which is absolutely fine, that's what he was brought in to do and implement. Anybody who changes now is going to be seen as a sign of weakness for sure.
I think the players, honestly, now would crave that. If it gives them a better chance to go and win a game of football, for me, I think they would embrace that. And
if you were in that squad, would you knock on his door and go?
100%. I've been in squads, where you're going between the senior pros, right, we need to go and have a chat with the gaffer in. What will give us the best way to go and win a football match? And for me, that's the next step. Are the characters in there now? That's the thing I would ask.
Yeah, I've always said that whenever I played in a back three, if you're an outside of the centre half, I've said it so many times that if you don't get the press right and you go 5-6 seconds late it has a knock-on effect all over the pitch, and then you end up getting there late, and all of a sudden, in 2 or 3 passes, you are so disjointed all over the pitch. And it's what you've seen in the first half. So many little corner runs down the side, 2v1. They should have scored straight after the second half kicked off. That should have been 3-0. I just felt they were so disjointed. And it's unfortunate because I watched the Arsenal game and I thought they were really good. In possession, out of possession, I thought you could see an improvement from last season. Guaranteed. Fulham first half, first 30 minutes, I thought they were really good. Attacked with intent. Could have been 2 or 3-0 up inside the first 15 minutes. But tonight we didn't see that tonight.
Who the f*** crazy now?
Good job of keepers ready now.
Unnecessary. I just love the game of football. This is what I live for.
Oh, they didn't do it. He was doing the robot. He was like this. He was doing all this.
They didn't get a good enough angle, did they? Exactly.
They had.
I know how to hide behind players like some Man United players.
Now.
I'm not doing it. I'm entertaining. No.
It was better than Peter Crouch.
Listen, we did it. Pick a cup set. I picked this game. Some people thought I was crazy. A few people work in this building, big Man United fans, called me a bit lunatic, but who's laughing now?
And you know what the even funnier thing is? Grella said there's no chance. Today it's going to be a training exercise for Manchester United.
Do you know what as well, Poppy?
Grella said
it yesterday as well about his Leeds. There's no chance Leeds are going to walk past Sheffield Wednesday. And again, two in a row.
Plus 1,900 going into this.
Wow, you could have made some money. You love a bit of a good bookies odds.
Plus 1,900, that's big.
Onana, Tony, let's talk about him, the goalkeeper union. Obviously, it was a bit of a mixed bag, wasn't it, in moments? Because he scored his penalty at the end, but he also...
I hope that's not how we're going to judge him in the end. But yeah, you go with the mess. This one's a tough... I think this was the first penalty kick, right? This is... that one's... When it's behind you like that and it's wet, it's one thing. This is the one here. This was penalty kick number 13, right? After this is Mbeumo's miss, but this is the one for me that he has to make a play on, and he knows it. I think if he goes with one hand instead of two, he has a better chance. I understand two because it's wet, but at some point in 13 penalty kicks, right?
Yeah.
You got to make more than one save.
It's Padre Pio in goal. He's got a hole in his glove. It's going right through his hands.
This is what you call wet gloves from yesterday.
That is wet gloves. Yeah.
You said Ethan Horvath had wet. No, his gloves were dry. These were wet today.
His penalty he took, though, was pretty good.
Yeah, I know, but he's not really getting paid to put the ball in the back of the net. He's getting paid
I want to play for you one day.
You're Tony, like, you goalkeeper at the highest level. So tell me, when you watch him, do you see a lack of confidence and belief in him? How do you know when a goalkeeper doesn't have any confidence?
Look, I look at this team. You can say Onana, right? This is your starting goalkeeper all last year. Okay, had some issues, but you're putting Bayindir in, and you're killing his confidence. For me, Bayindir is not a goalkeeper for Manchester United. You mentioned Ben Sesko. I thought match day one, you put a guy like that in because you have the biggest excuse. You could say, okay, hasn't bedded into the team yet, I got to get him. But no, he's killed his confidence already too. You can go down the line, right? You mentioned today, we're having a conversation about Bruno Fernandes, who actually I thought came in second half and made a little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
We're having a conversation about Bruno Fernandes and Kobe Mainoo, and those two guys competing for each other. Like, now you're killing, one by one, you're killing the confidence of the players. For me, that is so important for a manager. Well, vitally important.
He said that, and funny enough, that he made another statement now saying, I'm a big Mainoo fan, I don't want people to get it mistaken. And again, I'm thinking to yourself, you're Manchester United manager. You shouldn't be making these simple mistakes to the media. Certain things you keep to yourself, but you said it out there. It's going to get back to the players. And now the player's sitting there thinking, wait, I'm in competition for Bruno Fernandes. That's the club captain. So he knows already, I'm not going to win that. Why am I going to want to stay at Man United? And then now you have to take it back.
It's Bruno, on the other hand, thinking, I've been the lone bright spark for this team for so many months now, and for if not the entirety of
I don't think Fernandes gets it either. Yeah, he's a good player and he performs well and he has big moments in the team for sure. But I don't think he gets it either because he shoots the penalty, right? It's a casual penalty, very good penalty. He scores it and he's giving it all, like he's giving it this look like easy for me, you know.
Very arrogant. Very arrogant.
He's not thinking. He's not thinking about the situation that the club is in at that moment in time. He's thinking about, oh, I'm a great player. I'm a technical player. It shows you that how much he doesn't understand, I think, what...
Lack of awareness
of what the room is, you know. And then he did it again because the penalties went around and he scored again and he was like doing it. You're away from home at Grimsby. You're about to lose a match. You're about to make history for all the wrong reasons.
You're being taken to penalties by a league.
You need to be more like, hey, let's go, boys. Come on, like
Right.
doing what you can to win. It's not about you in that moment. And I just want to go back to Onana because that's how we started the segment. Can you imagine being Beppe Morata, who's the CEO or the the guy who buys the players at the sporting director at Inter, when they called you and said, hey, we want Onana for 70 million? I'd be like, put everything down. Get him over there. Can we get him on that? I'd put him in a slingshot and slingshot him over there.
I'll take 65. You can have
And
him.
now he's
But he
there.
was good in Champions League that year.
He was great for
okay.
He was great.
But now, again, you didn't need to pay that much for Onana. I think that was totally unnecessary. So that's where really the root of this stuff comes. Is really bad business for a lot of these players. 99 million for Šeško. How much did they pay for Højlund?
There's always going to be, but to be fair, Grella, there's always going to be a premium when Manchester United come knocking. You're a businessman, you love money. If you owned a football club and Manchester United came in for one of your players, you're not going to do them any favours. So that's just the reality. The problem in question is the recruiting of the players. That's been the problem, the ones that they've gone to go and buy. That's been the biggest problem.
But
Again,
what
we
do
talk
you do
about
with this group now?
There's nothing,
right?
you have to find a manager to motivate them.
But you've given Amorim, because he says he wants to play in this system, right? Okay, you want to play in this system, so you got to give him the players. So now you let him, what was the number,
229
okay.
for 4 players.
Just this summer,
By the way,
Four
you just gave him over $200 million to build a team the way he wants to build it. Now you're going to go change because not a lot of people play like this. Like
I
he
know,
wants to
but
play.
That's like living at my house with my wife.
But Tony, this is
like the
thing now.
renovations we do every day.
The next biggest thing Man United have to do is pick the right manager. You have to find a manager that is able to adjust and adapt and use that squad and get the best out of it. I already kind of put my name out there who I think could actually do it and get the best out of these players because it's a good attacking lineup. Defensively, they're still questionable. The back three thing doesn't work. The wing backs doesn't work. You have to find a manager to say, right, this is what we're going to play. We're going to start getting results. We're going to start getting confidence and belief in you because there's a lot of players that I feel have lost confidence now with Ruben Amorim. Regardless of his messaging he's putting out there, the eyes don't lie. I can see what these players are doing on the pitch. And for me, it's just not there. And we talk about the players that they spent. Where was Cunha today? Oof. Where was Cunha today? Way to Grimsby Town, the money you play for. And he's a talented player. But I saw nothing of him today as well.
So we're talking about all of these talented players, essentially, Poppy, right, that aren't living up to expectation. That falls on the manager. Because your job as a manager, right? If your player's a level 8 out of a 10, you got to get an 8 all the time out of them. And then every now and then you got to get a 9 out of them in a game. I feel like if that's the case, we're getting like 6s and 7s and maybe even less from the group. But that's the manager's job. Sir Alex Ferguson, everyone will tell you, right? It's not always about the X's and O's.
Nope.
Right? What did he do? He maximized every single player that he had in that roster for years and years. That's why we talk about him as one of the best managers, if not the best manager ever.
And through the different generations that he did it. And I know players who played under Sir Alex Ferguson, they told you how he managed. It's not one shoe fits all. Yeah. How I treat Tony is nothing to do with you, Grella. You just got to respect me as the manager, the decision I make, and we winning. Or as long as we winning. Whatever Tony has to do to get ready for Saturday, don't worry about that. You do what you have to do to get ready for Saturday. Because if you don't perform on Saturday, I'm going to come for you, I'm going to come for him. And that's how you kind of build it in the right way. It's not one shoe fits all.
I mean, there's just so many unknowns as well, isn't there? Not just Onana, who is in 1 minute, out the next minute. We saw it with Rasmus Højlund last season. You're not part of our plans. Actually, yes, you are. You're going to be our guy. Xerxes comes in. He doesn't know where he stands. There's too many players.
There's a bomb squad still.
Don't know where they fit in or where they stand, do they, with this Manchester United team. We did see, though, a funny moment coming into today after we saw all the upsets yesterday. You've been pecked by the chickens, Nige, didn't we? After, was it Bradford?
Bradford City.
Bradford City. Well, today, Grimsby Town,
slapped by the fish.
You've been slapped by the fish.
Oh.
What a moment for Grimsby Town, and no one is enjoying it more than their goalkeeper, Christy Pym. Here he is.
An absolutely historical night for you. How are you processing the fact that you just beat one of the biggest clubs in the world?
Yeah, it's not sunk in yet. I'm half fuming a little bit.
Are you?
Yeah, I am, yeah. So, nights like this, what you play football for, so yeah, beautiful.
He's a United fan.
I love it.
Would you have ever said that, Grell, in that moment, admitted to being a fan of Manchester United?
It depends who would have paid him the most, then Grella would have sold his soul. Highest bidder, Grella would always sell his soul. Not a problem.
I don't know about that. What a game he played, though. My God, I don't think he knows how good he played until he goes and goes back and watches some of the saves he made, I mean, they were incredible saves, right? Reaction saves, the one down low.
Yeah, that was the biggest one. The Maguire right before the end.
Yeah.
I think for all people have to understand watching from home is it's some of these players, like we said already, this is going to be the biggest game of their career. This is going to be the game that they remember for the rest of their lives. So sometimes you get caught up in the moment of like, you may never dream of getting to that level and playing against Manchester United. So for them, it's like you live for these moments and you've got no shame in admitting that you're a Manchester United fan. I think that's what some fans at home have to understand, that this might be their moment. So credit to him, but he had a fantastic game. Fantastic game.
Can you imagine Ruben Amorim? He wants to build with three, right? He wants to play with those wing backs, and these guys are trying to work on this, and they're all like, and he's on the sideline and he's moving magnets around. And Grimsby Town just went out and went bang, 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 and kicked them and tackled them. And then the rain came down and there's lightning coming out and they're getting kicked all over the field. They're getting outrun. They're getting abused. Can you imagine? They're probably thinking, oh, wait, where's the manager want me to be in this situation? We haven't worked on this when another team just beats us physically in every single department. We haven't worked on that before. So it was the perfect sort of match situation for a team that's like working on this like way to play and all these expensive players, and this other group of men came out and said, no, we'll go toe-to-toe with you, and we're going to be pretty nasty today. And we're going to do all the things that the game was built on, like the fundamentals of the game. Like, you got to run. You got to kick people. You've got to be organized. You've got to track runners. Like, all the things that players like me don't like to do. Players like him made a career out of it. One of the best guys to do that.
Nigel would have been sliding around all over
the fundamentals of it.
Today was
the rain. You were going crazy today.
I hope you know I could play a bit. You know, tackling was my strong point, but I could bop it around.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. You would have loved a rainy night, though, wouldn't you?
I would have loved that night. Oh, when the rain starts coming and everything, just you could time a tackle and just use the momentum and just slid off the grass. Yeah, you could time it properly, still win the ball and leave a little bit.
Even the way, it's funny to say this because he's on TV right now, but the way he communicates, even in the build, like you could see the way he watches a game. He's literally sometimes he's talking to the screen as if he's still playing. And it's interesting because I don't think Man United have that guy that say, hey, you come in, hey, you go there, hey, well done on that one, good aerial duel, or whatever. Organizing on those. I don't think Man United have a guy that can do that. And the team in Grimsby, my God, they were so good.
Do you know that?
Would you take Cameron Gardner, the 22, 19 years old?
Yeah.
Youth Academy product.
100%.
Big engine on the
and this goes to the conversation about Tony as well. When we say about young players playing as quickly as you can at that young age, you just put yourself in the biggest shop window. How many people around the world will watch that Man United game today and people are going to remember him for how hard he worked and the great game that he had, that now scouts will probably be going to scouting him every single week. This is what it's like about being a young player.
Is this a new epitome of a cold, rainy night in Stoke? Is that what they would say in England? What's the saying? Isn't that it?
Yeah.
The cold, rainy night in Grimsby.
In Grimsby,
where Manchester United
plenty of fish and chips for everyone
today. Out of the Carabao
today.
Cup, that's right. A town known for their fish. I'm sure they'll be having plenty